Afternoon, Wells Club. Welcome to day 5 of Language Arts here from the Wells living room. I'm currently sitting with my feet up on my couch, wearing my comfy clothes, my Brian sweatshirt, wrong side. Kind of relaxing since it's so yucky out. We're going to go ahead and get started with our reading lesson today. I'm going to start switching things up a bit since we're going to be doing this a lot longer than just 2 weeks, apparently. So, we are going to go ahead and read the story or the text Immigration together. And then instead of doing the vocabulary piece, upside down, sorry, we're not going to do the vocabulary piece. And I'm not going to have you do this pull it together piece. Because what I've done is instead of you doing these papers that you're never going to turn into me, I have created something in Google Classroom for you to complete, and I really need you to start going on there and doing those assignments because those are graded immediately. I can put it in the grade book and we can keep up with our grades until I hear otherwise. I tuned into Dr. Smith, our superintendent's Facebook Live last night, and it was very long, so I'm not going to, long story short, a lot of questions were asked about how is this year going to be finished? What are we going to be doing? Are we going to be doing summer school? And the gist of it is we'll get a lot more details after spring break. So in the meantime, we're going to keep on keeping on. But it's looking like we're going to be doing virtual learning from now until the end of the school year. And as far as summer school, he said it's a go, but he didn't say for who or, how long or whatever. So as soon as I get more information about how we're going to finish the school year, I'll be sure to share with you and your families. But in the meantime, I'm going to start switching up some of these activities because he did say that the packets you're not going to be turning into me. So we're going to use them as a resource more so than a packet you're going to be giving to me, since I don't know if I'll see you guys face to face again unless I bump into you, out once we're allowed to go back out again. So in the meantime, I'm still going to read you the stories that are given to us, but I'm going to switch up the independent activities just because there's not really a point to you doing a graphic organizer to never give to me. So the questions that I have for you, I can grade and put in the grade book for you. So again, make sure you're getting on Google Classroom, you're listening to the stories that I'm reading out loud to you, and then you are going back into the passages and finding your answers that are on the Google Classroom, because those are comprehension activities. Once you've clicked all your answers, it will immediately send me a grade. All right, so today we are working on the text called Immigration. So without further ado, Immigration. The United States of America has long been the world's chief receiving nation for immigrants. An immigrant is a person who leaves his or her country to settle and live in another country. Over the years, many millions of people have uprooted and left family and friends to move to America. Some felt forced to leave because they feared for their lives due to dangers present in their home countries. For example, many immigrants left countries that were at war or that didn't give them the freedom to practice their faith. Immigrants also left their native lands if they couldn't find work or enough food to live. Whatever the reason, immigrants usually have had to sacrifice a life that is familiar to one that is unknown. The United States was founded by immigrants. From the 1600s through 1775, European colonists settled in the land that is now the United States. Most of these immigrants were from England. Others arrived from France, Germany, Ireland, Scotland, and Spain. Many of these colonists came here looking for economic opportunity. They wanted better land to farm or better work. Others came to escape religious persecution. Some were even convicts brought over from English jails. West Africans also immigrated to the American colonies, but they came against their will. They were captured, sold into slavery, and shipped to the colonies. Since the United States was established in the 1700s, it was seen 3 waves of immigration. The first wave of American immigration took place from 1820 to 1870. Over 7 million people made the voyage to America, mostly from Northern and Western Europe. About a third of these immigrants were Irish people trying to escape a famine that plagued Ireland in the mid-1840s. Another third of the immigrants from this wave were German. The Chinese also began to immigrate to America during this time. They got word of the gold rush in California. They came to work in the mines and get rich. This flood of immigrants wasn't always welcome to those already in America. Some feared these newcomers would take away their jobs. Others didn't like the politics, customs, and or religions the new immigrants brought with them. For example, many Irish people were discriminated against for being Roman Catholic. The Chinese also suffered greatly from discrimination. The next wave of U.S. immigrants was by far the greatest. It started in 1881 and ended in 1920. Over 23 million people immigrated to the United States during this period, most of whom came from Southern and Eastern Europe. But by this time, anti-immigration sentiments had become so strong that a growing number of people demanded laws to make it harder for foreigners to become American citizens. In 1875, Congress passed its first immigration law intended to limit immigration. It kept people who were viewed as undesirable out, including convicts. In 1882, Congress also passed the Chinese Exclusion Act. It prohibited Chinese workers from coming to the United States. A few years later, other laws were passed. One required adult immigrants to have literacy skills. Another limited the amount of immigrants from countries outside of the Western Hemisphere. However, one of the greatest blows to immigration was the Great Depression of the 1930s. Immigration sharply declined. In fact, there were more people leaving America than coming to America during this time. The third wave of immigration began in 1965 and continues today. Most immigrants in this wave have come from Asian countries as well as South American countries, Caribbean countries, and Mexico. A large number of these immigrants have settled in the East and Midwest. However, many others have moved to California. Most immigrants have come to America with the hope of building a better life. However, they were sometimes met with hatred by the people already living in the country, who feared the economic and cultural impacts of these newcomers. While this discrimination and the economic downfall of the Great Depression had a negative effect on immigration, American immigration has managed to survive. All right, again, we are not going to be doing the vocabulary. I mean, if you already did it, that's fine. If you'd like to do it, that's fine. By all means, go for it. I'm not going to be putting in designated stopping points for this activity. You don't need to do a summary. And again, the reason for that is I'm not going to be collecting this from you. So instead of completing the assignments in here, like I said, I'm going to come up with alternative ones. And this activity is on Google Classroom. You need to make sure you log in with your own Gmail, your own password, and then use the passage that you have to answer the questions so you get a good grade, because those are automatically graded. I can put them in the grade book and keep up with your report cards, okay? All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.